last week we were like, very strange that Jack Sanborn's not out here playing. Why is Jack Sanborn not out here playing? Man,
Very strange.
the linebackers didn't look too great last week. I feel like Jack Sanborn can help stabilize this group, and boy, did he help stabilize the group. Now, there was better play up front and all that, no doubt about it. When I say better play, I mean the 4 defensive linemen were better, I think, this week than last week. But you saw what Jack Sanborn can bring to the game from a middle linebacker standpoint. The instincts, the veteran leadership, and just know-how out there in the system. Obviously, the big play role everyone's talking about is him, sifting through the trash, finding the gap, shooting it, and getting a tackle at the line of scrimmage, making a stop. But he also made a stop in an area I wanted to see. Hey, is he going to be a super liability? And that was in pass coverage.
Some of those zone drops.
Yeah, he drops back in the zone very well. He knows where he's going. He's very sure of himself, and he made a nice tackle. They tried to trip him up a little bit. They sent an over route right behind his ear, and he reacted to it. But because of that understanding and IQ, he saw that there was a crosser coming right in front of him. So he plants, explodes down, and makes the tackle at 5 yards. And I think that got him off the field or something of that sort. And I'm like, okay, that's what I want to see, Jack. I don't want to see him in man coverage, but I don't mind him in zone based off of that game. But I just thought he had a really good game here. And I think a lot of people wanted to see Jack because they weren't sure. Not everybody watched his film. They weren't sure of, hey, man, who is this guy? I think he showed you what he can be in Flus's scheme.
Oh, yeah. And I think I talked to you about it. I talked about it on here, is hearing him communicate is, if you just sit there, or if you get the chance to sit on the side of the field and listen to him communicate back and forth with the safeties and doing the checks and things like that, this is somebody that got his face in his playbook. You hear me? Like, he takes it very seriously. And one thing I also like about him is that I know that some linebackers, obviously they have to play special teams, but he is a guy that people really like. He took special teams seriously. That was his calling. And so, like, he has that kind of like chip, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, special teams, Scott, full-time special teams players are crazy. Like, the ones that, like, aces and gunners.
Especially back in the day.
Man, they're nuts.
Yeah, I mean,
what are you talking about? It's one of the few times, like, that you really, really do get to run full speed all the way down the field with momentum and stuff. These people's crazy. And
back when they had wedges, oh Lord, you running into a wedge? You running into 3 offensive linemen trying to take your head off going 100 miles an hour? Okay.
Nah, special teams. So he kind of has that. I'm not saying he's gonna be Zach Bond. I'm just saying that he has that chippy toughness, and then also too, he has the IQ. And I'm so glad that you broke down talking about some of the stuff he did in coverage. Again, not looking for him to do man, but the awareness and the fact that he could read it is what helps him get there. What makes up, to me, the reaction time makes up for the not crazy athletic guy that you see before you. It's just that he's faster. And so I am curious to continue to see him grow. I think the Cowboys have been lacking a
stabilizing force at middle linebacker. I'll say it for you.
Yeah, they've been lacking that for a while. That room in general has lacked nourishment for a while. To me, it's been a revolving door with coaches and all this stuff. So I'm glad that these guys got people they can lean on. And I think it's spreading through the linebacker room, because we saw, Maris Leofow, and then you see Shemar James, who's also kind of showing some stuff. So,
and I'm glad you brought up the nourishment, because I think they got a really good cook now in Matt Eberflus. that whole unit, I think, is playing more confidently. They are showing more, popping more, and doing better linebacker things because Flus is in there. And I don't want to just all contribute to Jack Sanborn being there this week. I do think Flus's teachings, you see these guys, man. Have you fallen and gotten injured at work? You should probably call a lawyer.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan and Morgan.
Morgan and 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 Morgan.
Did you know that your injury could be worth millions of dollars? Morgan & Morgan is the largest injury law firm in America, and they've recovered over $25 billion for their clients.
$25 billion? That's a hell of a lot of money.
If the insurance companies tried to lowball you, Morgan & Morgan is able to take the pain and suffering and turn it into cold, hard cash. But wait. How much is Morgan & Morgan going to cost you? You never owe them legal fees unless they're successful.
That's right. You don't owe unless you win.
And if you don't know how to hire a lawyer and it sounds too hard, it's actually super easy. You can just go to their website, and then in a couple clicks, you can find out if you have a case. You can literally do it from your smartphone. And remember, there's only one Morgan and Morgan.
Wait, there's more than one because let me see the script. Oh, last name. Oh, okay, roll it.
You can start your claim today by going to forthepeople.com/Skywalker. The link in the description. Damone Clark, for a couple years under our previous regimes, very timid. Not really a guy that was shooting the gaps. Not really a guy that was playing physically downhill. Damone Clark did that more consistently. Maybe not in the Rams game, but in this game. They probably got on his ass in that Rams game, right? Shemar James is popping. He's having plays where he's flashing. I'm not expecting Shemar James to be a starter, but he's flashing. So to your point about the room, and now this is me just being diabolical here. All right, so just bear with me. I have a favorite stat, a favorite stat from linebackers that to me is very telling. It's the AVDT, average depth of tackle. It's a PFF stat. I don't like PFF grades, but they have some fantastic stats. And we talked about this before with Mina. There's a way to be able to read stats and use them to get a better understanding and make it make sense. Volume stats don't matter to me. I don't care about 100. When I say it don't matter, I mean from a linebacker standpoint, I don't care if you have 175 tackles. Where were you tackling? Where was it at? This linebacker room, the four guys that I think will be on this team that have been playing, Jack Sanborn, Shemar James, Maris Leofau, Damone Clark. And when I say playing, maybe not all starting or whatever. They have an average AVDT of 2.4 or less. So what I mean is everybody has at least 2.4 yards per tackle or less. You want to know where Jax is at now in the run game? Now, he hasn't played a whole lot. 1 yard. Now, he hasn't played a whole lot. He hasn't made a lot of tackles in the run game, but 1 yard. Damone Clark's is at like 2 yards. Shemar James is at 2.4. Maris Leofau's at 2.1. That means when they're making these tackles in the run game, they're not getting more than 2.5 yards a carry. That is excellent. That is where you want. Now, I know, Sky, is preseason. I totally get it. Now, last year, that wasn't the case, though. I mean, I looked at the preseason stats last year. And the reason why you want to look there is because these guys are going to be asked to shoot these gaps, get downhill, make tackles at the line of scrimmage. That's the scheme. So these backers are important. So I mean to go all diabolical on you with preseason stats, but that particular one I do think stands out and one you hope continues during the regular season.
Regardless, it tells you that they are reading well, and that's good. It doesn't matter if it's preseason or if it's during the season. Yeah, they're going to go up against better blockers. They're going to go up against, but at least they are recognizing and reacting. And I think that stat is something. I mean, teach the people, Sky. Like, if you want to evaluate, this is the type of stats that you should be looking at to parallel with your film evaluation. So I thought that was awesome. But
I think it tracks.
No, it does. And you don't have to.
Because when they don't fill, guess what's happening? They're getting 6, 7, 8 yards in these runs. Or if the safety doesn't do his job, and that's the thing, maybe over relying on every single play these guys as opposed to, hey man, just dominate your guy up front, or hey man, that's where maybe the downfall is. But boy, there's a series that I showed on go check it out, y'all, on my channel, Drive of the Game. When it works, it is so beautiful to watch. Everybody shooting the gaps, playing their lanes, flowing, filling, guys up front, splitting the doubles. It's beautiful. And then what happens when you get in third long? Boom, pick six. So yes, the risk is, hey, if somebody missed a gap, that can go from a 3-yard gain to a 15-yarder. That's the risk.